back. It's New Mutator, joined by Switch, and we're looking at the finals, the first round of finals games between these two teams that are the finalists of the Winter Series, Vaalbara and the Syndicate. So far, this is Game 3. So far, the Syndicate has won 2. Captures on stock on the Borderlands. It's the name of the map. So capture is going to be a ball game. These are these yellow flashing things are balls placed around the map. The team to control the most number of these at the end of when the time expires, or the first team to control all of them, will win this game.
Currently, Vaalbara is down 2 games to none.
So far, Vaalbara is sort of the favorites. I mean, we already casted a match between Syndicate and Vaalbara, which Vaalbara won by 1 game. So these are the 2 finalists, and they've already met so far in the tournament. And I think Vaalbara had the slight edge, although one of their key players is missing. As you know, we already mentioned this last game, but Eastwind hasn't shown up yet.
Well, they're having other technical problems too. I'm just looking at Garrick in the chat here. Right. He's saying his router screwed up. He's got 2,500 ping.
Yeah, Garrick unable to play. He only had 1% last game, so I think that had something to do with that. So yeah, there's other problems plaguing Vaalbara here. They're having some issues showing up in full force. Syndicate, meanwhile, I think they're doing pretty good. They had Kirk come out of retirement to hold it down for them. So that's kind of a big deal. I don't think anybody expected that. But they need to win not only this round, but if they win this round, they need to win the second round of games. So their hope is to win here and close this out, this first round of games. Paris is going to be captaining. Rat King had to go, but Adrenaline, Evil Jake, Demolition, Kirk, Rar, and Akira. Genghis Khan, I guess, is observing. That's for the Syndicate here. For Vaalbara, GKG at the captain's helm. He's going to have Kruniak, as well as Osmodian, Kron, Arsenic, Limp, and it looks like Garrick will be sitting this out. So a 1-player advantage, it looks like, for the Syndicate.
Yeah, looking at the trades, Vaalbara got more pus, 1 more white, and no thrall, whereas Paris picked up a couple of thrall.
Where are those thrall?
They just got handed to Evil Jake.
Yeah, there is some thrall. I guess thrall will be good at guarding balls, if anything.
Captured.
Yeah, no thrall here for GKG. Interesting. I would have expected some thrall. Maybe not a lot of thrall, but a couple of thrall. Interesting that there's no thrall. The other thing to keep in mind is thrall are really slow, so they're not going to be very useful on the offense.
I'm noticing that Vaalbara has sent Kron with a goal pack to the south. Kind of surprising considering how much pus they traded for. He's got no pus.
That is kind of interesting. I'm thinking he was supposed to tag that southern ball, but he just sort of stopped on his way there.
Yeah, he's just sitting there.
So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I think he might have screwed that up if they were trying to do something, because it looks like nothing got accomplished from being in that spot.
And Akira has stolen the ball now, and he's going to dribble that back.
Yeah, and Syndicate is up by 3 balls, which is very significant. 6-3 at this point.
Kruniak is going to go grab that.
It's like Adrenaline getting bottlenecked here. That really sucks for him. He already lost 1 archer there to GKG. GKG is punishing him for trying to break out of that gate.
Yeah, he needs to get his dwarf up there and blow up those fences. Or just get out of position, yeah. I mean, it's a solid, like, with those fences there, a Syndicate has a nice defensive position. They can't really get rushed. So you'll notice, yeah, Adrenaline's now blowing up the fences.
Meanwhile, Kron is going to use that gold pack. I mean, I'm not really sure what the gold pack is there to accomplish. Running around tagging balls, but I mean, he's already... They're really most effective right off the bat in the early game, and I think he dropped the ball, so to speak.
Yeah, and he's really no threat to anyone here. He can scout, but he can't. He definitely can't push any of these warrior groups.
But Kruniak is pushing, and it looks like Evil Jake is going to be taking some damage here. Actually, Osmodian and Kruniak, they're going to be pressing here. They have a couple of pus. They want to get rid of these archers.
Making a nice pinch. Look at this.
There we go. Yeah, those archers and that thrall is just going to be eaten up alive here. I think GKG is going to
what is Rar doing? He's just noticing this by the looks of it. He's just, I mean, he's got to go help.
GKG trying to micro take out those thrall. If he can take those out, there'll be some nice some nice vets for his warriors. I think he'll be content to take just one. Rar's by himself at this point. That was a huge blow to the Syndicate. They're down about 10 points at this moment.
Yeah, Evil Jake just got wiped out, and he was holding like I think the largest percentage group too, with all those thrall and warriors. I'm gotta say I'm not impressed with Rar's play there. He should have done something. There
wasn't a whole lot he could have done though. They didn't have a lot. I mean, without sacrificing himself.
He's got a pus goal there. You know,
yeah,
he could have.
I don't know.
Or something.
It's a tough thing because I mean, the way that it ended up working out, Evil Jake did get wiped out, but they minimized their losses to just that. They managed to even save most of those thrall. So I think the way that he handled it turned out to be okay in terms of, you know, harm reduction, right? Like he minimizing the number of losses that they otherwise could have had.
Yeah, damage control.
True.
And now Evil Jake is going to try to. Looks like he's just playing with Limp here. He's going to get pussed.
Wow. Yeah, a couple of pus go down. He might end up losing everything.
Oh, that
there
was a
goes.
pus goal too. Oh man.
Yeah. Tough spot. Limp loses an archer. And actually, what's going on here?
Paris is trying to rush GKG by the looks of it. Counter this a little bit.
Kruniak is actually, well, Kruniak has been facing it against Adrenaline. But yeah, here's Akira on the high grounds. It's kind of a tough spot for him to be in. He can't really see anything.
In the south,
GKG is taking out a lot of these warriors. Probably managed to sink one at least. He's going after the dwarf. They do have some heals. Actually, they're out of heals at this point. No more heals.
Look at this pinch with Kirk and Kron and Arsenic in the south. Kirk's like basically surrounded. He's getting out of there. He's trying to get out of there.
Yeah, Kirk is by himself. I think actually Kron's gold pack is going to work out here.
Oh boy, that's it.
Oh, yep. That sucks for you, Kirk. This is going to be hard. It's going to be really hard.
Wipe him out. Or yeah, that's brutal. So that worked out a little bit with Kron and Arsenic there.
Yeah, that actually it couldn't have worked out better for Kron because he has the goals. He can just harass, and so Kirk is a dead man. There's really no way he can turn this around. He gets being reinforced, but there it goes. And yeah, the pus gold pack combo. It's going to be hard for him to survive here. And actually, Paris is in danger. Kirk has to protect him. So far, he's able to do so. Lucky for him, I think that was all the pus in the south. So I think they're out of pus. So Paris is going to survive for now. That could have been even more disastrous because that was, you know, basically all the defense they had in this spot with these balls.
Captured.
What do you think about Akira versus GKG with the archers here? Who's got the edge?
Let's see. There's Akira. I think GKG has the edge for sure. Akira's not even focusing on GKG. He's focusing on this goal, which doesn't even have a pus.
Yeah, and like Adrenaline and
Akira
Limp are
almost
just staring at each other.
Akira almost lost his dwarf. There's a pus goal going down. Demo's going to run in. He might be able to make something happen here. They think they're going to collapse on GKG. They might be able to take out all his archers. Meanwhile, here comes Arsenic, and there's very little here to stop him.
Yeah, Paris is in trouble.
He might be able to clean up. And actually, GKG might hold on here. I don't think there's enough. There's no pus. Let me see. There is a pus. Demo has 1 pus remaining.
Ball contested.
Well, GKG's got Asmodean just ready to back him up. So, if this rush happens, it's gonna be ugly.
Evil Jake is just in a tough spot here. There's not going to be anything he can do, I think.
Ball captured.
And this is actually really bad for Syndicate. They might lose all of their balls. Rar gets pussed.
Ball contested.
I mean, Syndicate's going for it, but it's going to be hard for them to hold on to that position. Meanwhile, Rar's running in. He's going to be able to reinforce this position, hopefully take out GKG. It's a over 10% differential at this point, but this would really go a long way to evening it up if he can take out these archers. Looks like he might be able to do so. Osmodian on the run. He's going to try to isolate one warrior. Get a kill on that.
Ball captured.
Rar's not going to let him.
I'm a little worried about their Syndicate's north here because they're slowly getting surrounded.
Huge play, Osmodian with the pus, but it's not going to be enough. He gets a couple of kills, I think, with that, but other than that, it's not going to be anything. Oh, he turns around, takes out that goal. He might be sacrificing that warrior for that. But yeah, Evil Jake's actually doing pretty good soaking up all this damage and keeping this ball contested, but you know, it's gonna be hard. They're just gonna have to lose all this big cache of balls here.
Ball contested.
Well, and Kron's Kopak, yeah, really coming into play. He's gonna be. I mean, he's got a very good chance of killing all these archers if he can push on Akira.
Ball captured.
Oh yeah, look at that. This is a perfect position for him to be in. And Akira, I don't think, is who you want to be on these archers alone. They don't have any backup here. They have just the one thrall, and they have Paris with a dwarf with only a sliver of health remaining. It's going to be a really hard defensive position for the Syndicate.
Well, Adrenaline was able to fight off Kruniak, and he's now going to come back and support Akira. So they're, you know, they've still got some percentages on the board.
Interestingly, Osmodian and Kirk are going to be battling it out. I think Kirk may have missed microed there, and he gave Osmodian the edge there. He basically handed that to him. So Kirk, I think, is he is down to 0%. I think that signals right there how this game is going to go. 50%, 33%. He might have been able to take that battle had he microed it a little bit differently. But it would have been hard either way because 2 of those warriors were pretty low. Meanwhile, Akira's being outdueled somewhat by Arsenic, and I don't know, it's going to be hard. Adrenaline is coming up, but it's a little bit late as Akira already lost 2 archers, and his 3 remaining archers are almost nearly dead. There's 30 seconds remaining, and they need to capture 4 balls ASAP. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Demo's going to try to dribble 1 ball off the edge of the map, hopefully. They do have that ball for now, but I don't know if they're going to be able to hold on to it.
Ball contested.
As long as they're contesting some balls, they have a chance. Rar is being chased by a huge group of warriors. I don't think he's going to be able to turn that around. I think they just have too few units to do anything here. 6 balls to 3.
No matter what happens, Vaalbara has those 2 balls just sitting there. They're held by Asmodian and Kruniak.
Yeah. I mean, Adrenaline so far is able to hold on to this defensive position, but Limp is here, and I just don't think he's going to be able to out micro two groups of
Ball
archers
contested.
to hold on to this ball.
Ball contested.
And yeah, there's Limp with the journeyman just taking him out. So
Ball contested.
it's probably over for the Syndicate. Unless Adrenaline can hit these groups of archers or something. Nope, that's it. He's all by himself with that dwarf. And there's nothing around to reinforce him.
Did you see that adrenaline suicide there?
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
beautiful.
Game over.
Well, that's going to be, that's that. Vaalbara comes out swinging. They're able to take the win here in game 3. So prevent the sweep. 2 games to 1 so far, Syndicate in the lead. Let's look at the numbers, break it down. What do you think happened there?
Well, I mean, I was really surprised. We were talking about like Kron's gold pack early on being kind of out of position.
Yeah.
Turned out to be a great play, able to get in the backfield and just really mess with all of their archers, their ball defense, and everything. So that worked out for them.
It did work out.
Had the extra pus that Vaalbara traded for paid off big when they were able to wipe out like Evil Jake and Kirk. And that's I think again you got like Asmodean and GKG and Arsenic. These guys, they're great pus players, and they really went to town.
I think the extra pus did work out. The gold pack, I was a little bit worried wouldn't be very effective, but the way it ended up working out was it totally, you couldn't have asked for better situations for Kron to be in, where he's coming up on, it's only warriors. You have a war pack and a gold pack, and you're able to use that to your advantage because goals are faster than warriors. So you can hit them from behind, you make them turn around, you can puss them, and you can do what you can to take them out. So I think they're focusing on Kirk was pretty huge. In the end, he ended up folding and just giving 3, his feeding Osmodian his last remaining units. Plus, later on, Kron, stumbled upon some archers and whatnot. So, which were barely defended. There wasn't any melee defense. All the melee was out rushing the archer positions of GKG and whatnot. Rar was out in mid, being dragged across all the way to the west. And I think Kirk had another warrior pack, which was demolished, and Evil Jake getting completely obliterated early on, was pretty a huge boon for Vaalbara. Kind of gave him a lot of it put them in a great position where they could afford to lose a few units here and there, and they can still be in a good spot.
I felt like, I mean, first, look at Adrenaline's numbers. First, I want to say, he's got 27 damage, 10 kills. And you saw was holding off Limp and Kruniak for quite a good portion of the game, plus playing defensive. And it was I think he was one of the few players there who was actually doing what needed to be done on this map, which was just hold right at the beginning.
Yep.
Syndicate had the ball advantage.
Yeah. Yep.
And they got too rushy, they got too aggressive, and it blew up on they got pussed.
Yeah, they had a huge. You're right. All they had to do was sit back and let the time expire, and I guess they overextended in the north. Evil Jake got taken out as a response. Look at his numbers: 3 kills, 15 losses.
That was a tough break.
Granted, a lot of that was Thrall. But still, early on, most of those losses were incurred pretty early.
Well, him and Kirk. Just
Yep.
Big loss numbers, 17, 15.
Kirk got singled out in the south. He was by himself. He thought he could, since he had a big warrior pack, he'd be fine. He didn't count on a gold pack being present, or else he would have been fine, possibly,
I was astonished when I saw that happening, because he was standing, if you look at the south, right, when he was in that position before he got pussed, he was standing right in this hole in this wall here. And I was like, what is he doing? Because he's not helping anybody by being there. And it's a really exposed position. So,
well, I think what he was doing was possibly scouting, making, trying to make sure nobody comes through that hole, because that's if you look down the middle of the map, there's this wall, and there's just only a few places where you can come through, and that's one of them. So they wanted to plug up the holes and to know if somebody was coming through. The problem, though, was he was, like you mentioned, he was a little bit overextended. He was out of position. There was nobody there to back him up if he got into trouble, and he did.
Yeah, you're right. I remember this now. Like when he started getting hit, Paris fed him additional reinforcements, which turned out to be a mistake because he was just, we're talking about damage minimization, right? That was just reinforcing this disaster that was already happening, and it just made things worse.
Right, and that's probably why they had no defense when Kron stumbled on them on their ball position, and that was just a field day for Kron. He that was the best case scenario for him. And you can see, even though he didn't have a lot of damage, he had a good number of
10 kills.
It's pretty high when all you have are goals.
Hey, yeah, man, just cleaning them up with against those archers. And
Arsenic,
what do you think about these numbers, eh?
Arsenic played really well. Look at that. 18 kills, 5 losses, 43 damage, second only to GKG.
Well, him and GKG both, I mean, those guys are deadly when you give them the archers. They can out micro you. They'll hit you. You won't be able to hit them. They'll be consistently control clicking, things like this. Very, very dangerous players.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think Syndicate, all they had to do was consolidate, be in a position where they could defend, have scout, but without exposing themselves to harm. And they weren't able to do that, and they were punished for being a little bit too spread out.
Do you think it was overconfidence, like coming off those 2 wins, being real pumped up and
perhaps
going into this one?
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for that, and also just coming into not really expecting that high level of aggression. Maybe overestimating your I think they came out and they were like, okay, well, just go here, nothing too bad's gonna happen, because just overestimating the level of safety they had, and
underestimating their opponents.
Right. Yeah, I think they just figured, yeah, if something happens, we'll just fall back and we'll be fine, but it didn't really work out that way.
Well, like you say, they fall back, and what do you fall back onto is, oh man, you've got Kron 1 killing all of your, in the backfield, and oh gee, we're getting, Akira's getting cleaned up consistently by GKG and Arsenic. His numbers aren't bad, but like we were watching that fight. There was. I mean, I don't think he was up to facing those 2 guys.
No, Akira couldn't have done it by himself. Adrenaline did make it there, but he sort of hung on for a while, but even Adrenaline can't do it by himself, and where's everybody else? Everybody else got taken out early. Rar got taken out, Kurt got taken out, Evil J got taken out. Who's left? And Paris, negative 13 damage. I'm not quite sure. He didn't seem like he accomplished very much. Most of his damage was from healing whites. And I do have to add that despite GKG incurring more negative damage than Paris, he managed to post the highest damage numbers in the game. Even though he had the highest number of losses as well with 21. So he was probably controlling more units than anybody else in the game by the same token. But yeah, I think you're right. I think they needed to play a little bit less aggressively. If they toned down their aggression a little bit, I think once they were up 3 balls, I think they could have relaxed a little bit and played a little bit less. I think they were over eager to find some action, and I think that may have been cause for regret.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm curious about those loss numbers on GKG. What was he losing there? Was that Warriors, Archers? 'Cause that's a surprising
He
amount.
lost some archers, and I'd have to rewind and see. A lot of whites are counted in that.
True, true.
I'm not sure how many whites they had to heal. Uh, let's see. Where did they start out? Back here. Where did they heal the whites at? Let me count the pus piles.
Remember last game we were talking about those damage figures being like really even for the Syndicate, and I'm looking at what happened with Limp, Kron, Kruniak, and Asmodean here, and they have that nice even spread that you're talking about, with Arsenic and GKG, providing that heavy presence. So I mean that again, I think that worked out perfectly for the kind of game that GKG wanted to play. Is the Archer packs were able to just keep harassing, keep pressure on, and then his like mobile units were able to push back Syndicate, and then eventually capitalize by taking their balls, literally capturing all of their balls,
Well,
except for two.
I was early on. I was wondering why didn't he take Thrall, but I think it's best that he didn't because
Mm-hmm.
they needed that mobility since they were almost always they were almost uh, it was more important for them to be on offense than defense that game as they were down balls early on. So it's
Well, and
probably best they didn't have Thrall.
those Thrall, I mean, right, just didn't do anything for Paris because they got blown up when
Yeah.
Evil Jake got killed.
Yep, absolutely. So I don't know how many goals there were. I'm guessing, maybe six, something like that. Um, so that's a good chunk. Plus those archers, that was probably like what, six archers. So that's a large number. Plus, I'm not sure if he had anything beyond that. Perhaps a dwarf and some warriors, and who knows what else. Some goals. I'm sure he had plenty of goals as well. So who knows what all those losses are. I'd have to take a closer look. But let's go ahead and move on to game four. So Vaalbara's going to hold on for now and look to turn things around. Game four. They're still down by one game, 2-1 here in the first round of the finals. So,
And Limp is laughing in the chat.
oh yeah,
He's happy.
there he is. All right, we'll see you then.